there! My name is Julie Fei-Fan Balzer, and today I'm going to show you how easy it is to use acrylic paint with your stamps. Okay, I'm going to begin with my tablet, but of course you can start on your computer or any other device. And I'm going to go ahead and create a new project in ScanNCut Canvas. And then I have bought the stamp starter kit, which means that I have the access code to unlock all the stamp designs. If you don't, you can use any design that you like. But if you have done that, then you're just going to go ahead and grab one of the stamp designs, and you can see whatever tickles your fancy here. And speaking of tickling, I kind of like the feather, so that's the design we're going to go with. Now you could resize it or do anything else that you want, but I'm just going to go ahead and download it by pressing that big purple button, and then I'm going to wirelessly transfer it right on over to my machine. As soon as it says that it's ready, then I'm ready to put my tablet aside, and now I can go ahead and I can simply go into pattern, and then this is the wireless transfer button, and as soon as I hit that, you'll see my feather comes right up. So the next thing is, this is the stamp material. Now, when it comes, it is bigger than this. I just happen to have cut this down into some smaller pieces. The other thing that's important is there are two pieces of plastic, one on each side of this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel off only one side of the plastic. Okay, now this is garbage and I'm going to discard it. As far as this is concerned, the side that has the plastic on it is going to go up, facing up, and the side without the plastic is going to go down. So I'm using just my regular standard mat. I'm going to remove the dust cover, and I'm simply going to take my stamp material and I'm going to place it down again with that thin piece of plastic up and the other side, the exposed side, down. Okay, so once that's on the mat, I'm going to go ahead and open the dust cover on my machine, and I'm going to open it up and load the mat. Now I do want to scan this in so that I can make sure that my feather is sized properly, and so that I can make sure it's also placed onto my stamp material exactly where I need it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and drag my feather, and you can see that's pretty cool, right? Totally clear thing on a white background, and it shows up. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm simply going to resize this a little bit so it fits. And if you need to see a little more closely, you can go ahead and you can zoom in to make sure that you're perfectly placing it exactly where it needs to go. And of course I can rotate this if I need to make it fit even better. Just whatever works for me. And then I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so I can see what's going on. Make sure that it's placed in here. I might need to resize it just a tiny bit more. There we go. That looks kind of perfect. And there it is, my little stamp design, okay? So once I'm happy with it, I'm simply going to say OK and cut, and I'm ready to press start. So I'm going to go ahead and unload the mat, and now this is always the most exciting part, the peeling away. And then I'm going to just go ahead and delicately, you want to make sure that everything comes away. And once that's done, then you want to carefully peel your stamp off. Now it does still have this plastic on it, which you want to just go ahead and peel off. And if I move the mat out of the way, then you can see how good my stamp looks. Now I have a stamp block here, and all I'm going to do is simply push down on the stamp like so, and it's going to cling to the block. Okay, super easy. Now I'm just putting a piece of cardboard underneath my surface because we are using paint, and I want to make sure that I keep things a little bit on the neat side. So I'm going to go ahead and put out some acrylic paint onto a piece of palette paper. You could use a piece of wax paper, a piece of deli paper, whatever you had, just something that has a slick surface. Now I'm using a brayer. This is a rubber brayer, and I'm simply going to roll, notice, all in one direction until I have a nice thin coat of acrylic paint. Okay, and that's really key. You don't want to have this be gloppy. You want it to be a nice thin coat all over your brayer. Once you have that nice thin coat, you're going to go ahead and you're going to brayer on top of your stamp. Now don't worry if you're messy like me and you get some stray paint onto the block. That's totally fine. You can take a baby wipe and you clean that up, or you can say, hey, it's crafting, it's fun, I'm going to live with it. Now, I think that it's a good thing to move fast, and sometimes I will do like more than one pass across the stamp with my brayer just to make sure that that's all nice and covered. And once that's good, then I'm just going to go ahead right onto my tag, and I'm going to go ahead and push down with even pressure right over the stamp and pull it up, and boom, I have a really cool feather. And now I can keep going, and I can keep inking up, or I guess it's not really ink, it's paint, so I'm going to keep painting up, and you'll notice those stray marks don't appear. And I can keep moving my feather around. I can even stamp it slightly off the tag, however I want. But this just opens up a whole new possible set of ways to use your acrylic stamps that you're cutting now with your ScanNCut. Because think about it, you can use it in your art journal, you can use it with fabric paint on fabric projects, on clothes, on all sorts of stuff. I'm really excited about the fact that it's super easy to use acrylic paint with all of your stamps that you've cut with the ScanNCut. So one quick note, you do want to make sure that you clean the acrylic paint right off of your silicone stamp as soon as possible. You don't want to let it dry on there. I'm just using a baby wipe. You could also rinse it off in the sink or anything like that. You just don't want to let that paint dry on there because you won't be able to get it off once it dries. Next time you cut a stamp with your ScanNCut, try using acrylic paint to print it. It's a great combination. Thanks so much for watching. For more tips, tricks, and tutorials, be sure to visit my blog at balzerdesigns.typepad.com, and of course, check out the ScanNCut website at scanncut.com.